You can tell what I fucking thought of this episode. Alright, so I do need to explain myself because there are people who like this episode, and by extension, this duel. Let me go ahead and say that I actually debated briefly if I was even going to give this thing a rant view because the duel is actually pretty decent, except for the fact of Joey fucking of Joey frickin' losing. By the way, I probably would have swapped Rebecca. Her, well, maybe not Rebecca. I would have swapped out either Rebecca's opponent. You know what? I've actually would have swapped Joey and then like either the mage dude or the detective who's positions and had Joey duel one of them. It doesn't matter which one. And that we move on to the next tournament, to the next round. I don't even remember which one of them moves on, to be a part of the final four. But yeah, actually, that's something else that this series has been doing to Joey, hasn't it? He's been moving down in the ranks each goddamn time, right? He was literally the runner-up at Duelist Kingdom. He was top 4 in Battle City, and now he's top 8 in KC Grand Prix. It's like, fucking really? God. Shouldn't his standing have gone up? Like, shouldn't he? Like, I get it wouldn't have worked for that one, but I almost feel like it would have been better if he had been top 8, which is actually, funny enough, what I am intending to rewrite it as. What I intend to rewrite it as if the Yu-Gi-Oh rewrite project ever gets off the ground, right? Oh yeah, I guess I didn't mention the lighting. So I'm reworking the lighting setup because this is a rant view. So I decided to try and do something different with the lighting. I may try to get some different lighting so that I can have like rant view lights, but um, that's gonna be sometime in the future because yeah, and then I'll just have the red glow on me for rant view, right? Can be nice and ragey and shit. But yeah, no, I fucking hated this episode. I fucking hated this episode. So you're getting the dim lighting and the rage, and like this is the kind of thing I wanted to do before, but of course because of how open my setup was prior to this point, I didn't really get a chance to do it. Which is funny because the two chances I did have to do it didn't really pan out all that well. We literally had only one rant view before I had to switch to the crappy setup. So, which was my own damn fault because again, this project took way too long to get off the ground. But regardless, oh fuck, where the fuck do I even begin with this duel or with this two-parter? Well, let's start with the fact that Siegfried is a dick. Like even more so in the sub, he is just a colossal dick, right? Now, granted, once when Joey gets his attention, it's still better because he's like, okay, you know what, yeah, okay, you've got me serious now, right? But it doesn't feel like one of those like, all right, now I'm gonna take you seriously. It's more of just a case of, oh, you little fucker, now I'm gonna just beat you to the ground because I'm an asshole. It doesn't feel like the villains get. It doesn't feel like the villains just like standing up to take things seriously. It sounds like it feels more like a petulant man child who's been interrupted from his hobby and is now being a jerk. It's basically me getting interrupted in my streams is what it fucking is. Yeah, I'll fucking say it. Just say it. And I'm not afraid of taking digs at myself. Health, right? I do like that Leon. They do mention that Leon's issue is that he kind of hero worships Yugi, and that's kind of why he's nervous, right? I also like that the sub explains Rex and Weevil that they basically were booted out of Kaiba Land, thrown on a plane, and said, "Go back to Japan, you fucking morons." You know, because Kaiba Corp has enough stock for plane tickets. They just wanted Yugi there to boost the tournaments. Excuse me. They wanted Yugi there to boost the tournament cred is what they wanted. So that's why they aren't already why the gang's not on their way back. So Yugi is pulled aside by Mokuba, and and he looks at Yugi and he's like, "Okay, I gotta talk to you. Can I talk to you real quick? So somebody's trying to fuck over this tournament. I need you guys to keep an eye out for anybody suspicious." And the gang are like, "Yeah, no, we'll absolutely do that." Yugi, and although this bugs Yugi, quite literally just bugs Yugi. In the sub, he says it was because he wanted everybody to just have a tournament and have fun. Wgi's reasoning is pretty similar. The only difference is that Wgi's point was that he wanted just once to have fun in a tournament where some fucking maniac wasn't trying to take over the goddamn world. Was that too much to ask? And to be fair, yeah. No, I can kind of see it, right? Especially if we want to count this as like the last thing that happens before the end of the show. I know technically, according to Crunchyroll's episode counting, you can claim that this is actually, that there is still one more douchebag that's going to try and take over the world before we get to the Millennium World arc. But in but in the sorry, but at the same time, it's like, regardless if that's before or after, look at all the crap that he's had to put up with, right? All of the fucking people coming out of the woodwork, Pegasus coming after him for his Millennium puzzle, and trying to take over Kaiba Corp. Merrick trying to kill him just because rule on high as Pharaoh because he's a fucking dick. Which then evolved into Yami Merrick wanting to just fucking murder everybody. Noah wanting revenge on Kaiba. The fucking Doma arc, which was all about world domination, right? Just once, Yugi would like to have a tournament that he's in where the stakes are not life and fucking death. And to be honest with you, yeah, I get that. Of course, Yugi wants his tournament with no stakes. Why wouldn't he? Even the categories. But yeah, you know. So then both versions have this shitty fake out. Like the dub has a fake out just because the sub has a fake out, where you think we're gonna actually have an interesting bout of where we're gonna see four duels play out all at once. No, we only focus on Joey and Siegfried. That's it. Which I think is hot garbage because I think we could have had an episode where we had 3 of the duels go on, or like or even have like 3 episodes where it's like, okay, here's here's a bunch of duels that happen. Also, why do the duels have to take place at the same time? Why do you have to divide the viewer's attention like that? What's the point of that? Are we on a time crunch or something, Seto? Like, the fuck is this? Hiccups, fuck off! Now's not the time. But yeah. So they get to the duel. Joey has a bad opening hand. I'm going to be flipping back and forth because my dub notes are on one page. My sub notes are on the other, by the way. Apologies. We'll be making a cat edit. Where was I? Right. Okay. I'm checking my sub and my dub notes because, basically my dub notes are mostly on the one page, and then my sub notes are on on the other page. Okay, I have nothing to really talk about with that, as my sister's cat screws up the lighting. I'm busy. Izzy, you go away. So, I will say the dub has better dialogue. I'll say that. I don't know. There's just something about the dialogue in the sub that is just like, what the fuck. So Joey has a bad opening hand, and then Siegfried, who's barely paying attention to the duel, is in the dub is like, I thought you'd be on to me by now, Kaiba. He mentioned something similar in the sub. Sorry about that. In fact, I'm actually going to double check the. I actually want to double check the lighting because I know the monitor actually doesn't have as much of a glow to it. Yeah, that is wrecking the lighting. Of course it is. God damn it. Ugh. Sorry about that. Just wanted to fix the lighting and grab myself a drink. Okay. Okay, now seriously, where the hell was I? Right. Okay, so Siegfried figured Kaiba would be onto him in both versions, pretty much. And so that's when he makes the attractions go haywire with his haywire. Whether or not that was I always figured that was because he activated it from his watch. No, that was actually a timed infiltration of a virus, apparently. Interesting. Interesting thing there. So then Kaiba has a flashback to when a party that he attended when Gozaburo was trying to trying to get ties into Europe. And apparently the dub actually recasted Gosaburo's voice actor because he's voiced by Ted Lewis in here as opposed to his original voice actor. Which I was like, huh. Granted, they've done recasting before from season 3 to season 4, so shrug. Still not sure what I think of Erica Schroeder as Mai, if I'm honest. I like her better as Akiza, if I'm honest. But I digress. And Ted Lewis is very talented, but Gosaburo Kaiba, he ain't. I'm sorry to say, you know. So then Joey's attack is stopped by Wotan's judgment, which apparently is mistranslated by the fandom wiki, apparently. If we go by the way it's used in both this episode and when it shows up in Siegfried's next duel, Yeah, no, the wiki is the fuck up because it's used on direct attacks both times, if I'm not mistaken. Even though the wiki says a monster has to be attacked, right? It's kind of a different thing. You are not your monsters. That's just shocking, I know. So then Siegfried uses Goddess Erda's guidance, which allows him to basically reshuffle his deck, heck, and kind of fix up his hand. And Siegfried then is effectively telling Joey that he's nothing, that he's worthless, and yada yada yada. But so then Joey responds by calling on Jinzo and attacking him directly. And that's when Siegfried decides, okay, all right, you've pissed me off now. I'm going to start taking you seriously. Keep that point in the back of your mind for until we get to the changes section, because that'll tie into my changes section, obviously. So then he gets pissed. Siegfried gets pissed, and he activates Ride of the Valkyries, which I don't know if I said earlier today that yeah the Ride of the Valkyries is supposed to be a royalty free song, but yeah, no, I said that. I did. But yeah, that does lead us in part two. Also, Siegfried calls Jonouchi a clown, and that's the insult in there. And I just was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Can we have some respect for Joey, especially after all the shit he went through? Like, I'm sorry, but like this should have been the arc where Joey was getting laid. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, I know I know that's where my dirty mind goes every fucking time. But first, if this is your first time seeing me, uh, what a what a way to discover me. And two, who this is me, you know? Joey Joey should basically be drowning in pussy more than frickin' Light Yagami ever was, as at this point. My opinion. He should have women fawning over him just as much as Yugi and Joey. You could even make that a storyline where the fame starts to get to his head, right? Or you could even have it be where he's trying to talk to Mai, and all of these women are constantly swarming him, and he's like, "Can you all go the fuck away? Hey, I have to talk to Mai. Now go away." Hey, and then when they're like, "It's not like she's your girlfriend or anything," and then Joey's just like, it could just be like, "Yes, she is. Now go away." Hey, and that just pisses my off a bit, and it's like, I said that to get them away because you and I need to talk. That kind of thing. Yeah. Ugh. But whatever. So then we go into part two. Siegfried makes a lava to meet you pun and calls upon three copies of Erst and one copy of Swite. Right. Zoid, of course, automatically destroys Jinzo, and then one of the Earths gets 2400. They go to attack him. They go to attack Joey and wipe him out, but there's a card called Hyper Refresh, which doubles Joey's life points, and that's how he was able to survive. With just 800 left. Go figure. So Kaiba then manages to get his backup system to fix the virus problem. Keep this in the back of your mind for the end of the arc, by the way. And then, and Frika's meditation blocks Swordsman and Landstar's attack. And then this is when Nibelung's treasure, the Nibelung's treasure, Nibelung's ring combo shows up. So what happens here is that Nibelung's treasure lets the player draw. You can cause the player to draw an extra card, and if that's a monster card, they have to discard it. And to help ensure that that's easier to do, he activates his three continuous goddess cards. Goddess Urd's Verdict, Goddess Verdunde's Guidance, and Goddess Skuld's Oracle. Basically, these three goddesses effectively let Siegfried see the top three cards of his opponent's deck at the start of his turn. Then he can, I believe that's Skuld's effect. Then I believe Verdunde lets him rearrange those cards in any order. Either that, no, sorry. Skuld sees the top three cards, rearranges them in any order, and then returns them. Verdunde and his guidance then allows him to guess what type of card is on the top of his deck, and if he guesses right, it's set right onto the field. And then Urd then lets him guess what is the name of the card that he just put on the field, that just got set on the field, and if he's one set card on the field, and if he's correct, the card is banished. And because as Joey points out, it's like since you're the one who put it there, I'm not impressed. Agreed, by the way. See? Also, I actually wrote a note that says "Agreed, Joey," because Joey claims in the dub. Joey claims that Siegfried is the most annoying opponent he's ever faced, and I agree, both in terms of his tactics and his mannerisms. I will say the summoning of the Valkyries is better subbed for that. And then when subs Zig starts being serious, it is better, but yeah. So then Joey is blocked from attacking by Logue's Flame, which effectively is the trap card Wall of Revealing Light, but just has a set block of monsters with 2,000 or less attack. Also, in the real card game, you effectively need to have a Valkyrie on the field in order to use it. In the anime, you do not. So then a card called Swan Maiden is used to bring out Brunhilde. Apple of Enlightenment allows... shit, what did that allow him to do? I think it allowed him to use something. I don't remember what it was. Oops, I'm terrible. Not that I care. So then Enchanted Sword Bifrost comes in. And in combination with Rainbow Bridge Bifrost, and boosts Brunhilde up to 5,000 attack. Joey tries to save himself with compensation mediation, and he actually fails. Which means, yeah, he loses. Oof. And instead of applauding Joey for staying for staying in the game against someone who frickin' OTK'd Rex and Weevil, yeah, no. Oh, the gang just laugh at him. Oh, I guess it's only when your life is on the line that you actually win. Ha 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 ha. Fuck you, morons. Fuck you, morons. Hence. Fuck, you think the TOS Season 1 TNG fucking codas are bad? Fucking bite me. This is the kind of fucking coda that is bullshit. The gang are literally acting like assholes, and I'm supposed to find that it funny. Well, it's not funny. Joey has been shat on by this fucking show for multiple episodes now. In fact, he's been shat on for a grand total of 47 episodes now. Why the fuck is it continuing? Ugh. Fuck this episode. Let's just get to the changes section. First and foremost, my first changes note is less dub Sieg, more sub Sieg. What I mean by this is let's have Sieg actually freaking acknowledge Joey as an opponent. Like maybe go so far as to be like, oh, you are actually stronger than I expected. You know, like maybe go so far as to be maybe have Siegfried just be like, you weren't fourth place in Battle City for nothing. Nothing in Herr Joseph. Very well, I acknowledge your power. But I'm afraid victory, the goddess of victory, smiles on me this day. Hey. Hey. If the goddess of victory can tame a red wolf, well, that just shows why. It shows she has good taste, after all. I don't know where the fuck I was going with this joke, so whatever. Hard abort. That's actually my second note. More acknowledgement of Joey's skills. Like maybe even have Siegfried agree with Joey. Like Jonouchi says at one point that luck is part of skill, and I'd have Siegfried agree with that. Like yes, yes, this Lady Luck is add reliance on Lady Luck can add to skill, but luck alone does not win. But you do play your cards well, Jonouchi Katsuya. You know, something like that, right? Have him be this respectable person that it's like, you know, I dismissed you as just a worthless chump, but it seems you are not fourth place in Battle City for nothing. I applaud you. And I applaud you. Herr Joseph. It would seem Herr Kaiba is actually decent at picking duelists for these kinds of things. I'm actually impressed. You know, something like that, right? And also, let's have the gang actually congratulate Joey for riding out the storm that is the Valkyries and those freaking goddesses is for as long as he fucking does, instead of this fucking garbage of oh, you only win when your life is on the line. Isn't that funny? Because apparently death matches are funny. Fuck, that pissed me off. And that was the oomph that dragged this one down to Rantview. I actually knew I wasn't gonna like this episode, but I was like, okay, you know, maybe I can justify yanking this one out of Rantview. Fuck no. And I wanted you to understand something, okay? I want you to realize something. The episode last week wasn't a Rantview. And it focused on Rebecca. Think about that for a second. Rebecca Hawkins did not that cause Rantview, but this stupid ass fucking episode did. Treat Joey like he had a fighting chance. You don't even need to change Siegfried being the winner. And that's the thing, okay? I'm not opposed to Joey losing. But that's not enough for the episode to be lifted out of Rantview status and be a good episode. It has to acknowledge Joey's skills. Like maybe even have Siegfried kind of throw a line from Siegfried in there, like after Joey survives Ride to the Valkyries, be like, you you survived. You survived Ride of the Valkyries. Like maybe have him be like confused, like I'm sorry, yeah, I did, and then just have it, and then just have Siegfried be like, please give me a moment, Herr Joseph, just give me a moment. No one, and I want to stress this, no one has ever survived a turn in which I activate Ride of the Valkyries. Ever. I have never had the detrimental effect of Ride of the Valkyries go off. Off. You are the first person to ever accomplish that in all of my years of dueling. Oh, well, I'm honored to be the first then. You know? Yes, I acknowledge your skill, Herr Joseph. Some people would call that hyper refresh you used whose luck, but I mean, you needed to have set the damn thing in order to have used it, so yeah, I'd say there's some skill involved in that. And I like that. And I like that idea because, again, it makes sense. And if that's more of how Siegfried treated Joey throughout the entirety of this episode, it would have actually fit better because at least then you could say that Siegfried was kind of just acknowledging Joey as a strong opponent instead of this let's treat him like a joke. Oh, like we've been doing. Ugh. I really do see what people mean when they say this is the worst arc. Absolutely. What's funny is that I may actually have to do I'm actually gonna do a bit of more of a math thing with the numbers. I should have done that already, but I haven't because I'm an idiot. But what I was gonna do was what I'm going to do with the numbers is I'm actually gonna calculate it by percentage, right? What had the highest percent rating out of all of the seasons, right? And then for this season, obviously I'm going to go by arc, right? The 14. So effectively, the idea here is that it will be a number out of whatever 7 times 14 is because of the numbers I use. 98. So basically the score out of 98. Which is hilarious because that might as well be out of 100, but you get my point. Which, for the record, so far, if we were to just say, like, let's just use since we're halfway through the arc, let's just use 49 as the number example, because 7 times 7, and go from there. So, So we had a C, which is 3 points, a D, which is 2 points, an E, which is 1 point, and then no points here. So the C would be 6. It would actually be 6. The D would be 4. And then, yeah. So basically 11 points. Not a great track record. Yeah, this is definitely shaping up to be the worst arc by that metric, right? I'd have to do the actual math, so I'm not going to sit here and do that on camera. But future Alex will put up the numbers to tell you what the Doma arc score is, because I'm actually curious about that myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop off this rant view, and I'm going to go calculate that, so future Alex can go ahead and put it up on the screen. And the sad thing is that the bitching is not done, because next week is a brawl in a small town, aka a Rebecca versus Leon, and Yugi versus Vivian. See you there, guys. Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Bar. I hope you've enjoyed my thought. I hope you've at least tolerated my rantings, as per usual. And I will see you guys next time. Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Walker signing out. Have a good one. Duel, stand by. Fuck this episode.